Bard, the wandering caretaker. Those entities that live up in the heavens, those celestial beings way up above our heads, they tend to envision their realm as a big old beautiful canvas, flickering stars, swirling galaxies, a truly splendiferous sight that is just pure art. Bard isn't like all the rest. He doesn't just see it all, he hears it. A breathtaking cosmic light show translated into soothing, ethereal chiming. When time had just started ticking, Bard floated on, up there, in utter silence, dangling in nothing but emptiness. He had a hunch that soon enough something would appear to take up that space. And as the first stars blinked into existence, the sparks of origination gave off a wondrous melody. Just like he knew it would happen. He zoomed through the celestial skybox, following trails of notes from star to star, meeting creatures named Meeps along the way. These were small beings of energy made up of leftover song, and were drawn to Bard like a magnet, especially when he played music of his own. After a time, the music of the stars didn't line up as perfectly as it should. It started out tiny, hardly noticeable, so small Bard wouldn't even have noticed. The Meeps did, though. They pointed out the almost imperceptible flaws that began to stack up. Notes didn't glide into one another right. Patterns weren't so crisp. Even little stretches rang quiet when there should have been sound. Bard flitted around, playing detective and looking for clues. Then he honed in on what had caused the issue, an inexplicable world jamming to its own tunes. It was, you guessed it, Runeterra. The music radiating out from it was clunky and unrefined, mirroring the unhinged mortals that called that rock a home. Sure, it was a smidge imperfect, but it had its charm, primitive but fascinating. If that's all it was, just a jaunty tune, well, Bard would have just sat and enjoyed it for a bit before drifting away. But it was having a negative effect on the celestial plane, actually shredding it up somewhat. He couldn't just let it keep pumping out all that discord. Bard and his company of Meeps portaled into our dimension, choosing to cross over into Ionia's first lands. Before then, he didn't need a physical body. Being energy, he threw together a quick get-up, borrowed from a sham player's belongings. A sham is a musical instrument. Think an oboe or clarinet's great-grandmother. It was a simple vessel, held together with fabrics, a few trinkets, and topped with a rounded, lovable three-holed mask. Bard wandered around the world for a good long while, flabbergasting and entertaining those he crossed paths with. The problem he had gone down to check on was way more complex than he had initially believed. Runeterra had a penchant for collecting items of wayward and chaotic power, which threw a wrench in the plan of the natural cosmic order. After deucing and deducing, Bard came to the conclusion that this kerfuffle was the calling card of some other celestial interloper. At this point, Bard had become caretaker of this world, taking things causing troubles that ought to not be sitting somewhere and then putting them where they should sit. It was more nitty-gritty than his previous works, but fixing the universe often starts with something small. First, saving the world, then on to saving the rest of creation. Bard doesn't just have ears. He's got eyes that see the dark shadow of conflict on the horizon. Not just limited to our world, but all of them. And he's here with the rest of us, waiting to take action when it comes to pass.